gonna be honest with you, it is a fucking mess around here at the moment. Because there's shit everywhere. Packing up. We're packing up. Gonna move, sell the house, whatever. So on and so forth. So I apologize if any of that gets in the camera. It's a lot right now. I don't want to start this. I'm gonna start with this. Sometimes your kids surprise you. My kids a lot of times surprise me in bad ways. By the things they do or say. But sometimes they surprise you in a good way. My example is just today. Had to go out. I had to take a trip to Lowe's because we got things to fix around here so we can get it ready to sell. I stopped by Walmart to pick up some female unmentionables. All right. You know what I'm talking about. When Aunt Flo is around. And so we go to the aisle. And my kid's mom picks him up, picks up what you need, what's needed. My son goes. He sees her pick up the bag. And he goes, "Are you on your period?" Which is it's straightforward, but still, you don't have to be saying it out loud like that. But whatever. And his mom goes, "No, it's for your sister." And she's like, "I don't think you need to be saying all that kind of business out loud, though." Which is fair. But I kind of went back. I was like, hey, don't worry about it. Hey, it's part of life. It's nothing wrong with, don't be ashamed of nothing like that. Ain't nothing wrong with asking. I guess. I don't know. That's what I said. That's how I see it. Because, we grew up seeing this, seeing it always portrayed on like TV episodes where guys were so skittish about going in and getting that product, like tampons or pads or whatever for their significant other. They're so skittish about it, so embarrassed about even just going in and buying it. And I never understood that. Like I've always just went in and bought shit. It's you aren't using it. I mean, what is there to be ashamed of? It's like it was the same thing. If you were honestly, it was the same thing with buying condoms. Like it's like was hardwired into us to be embarrassed to buy these items that were supposed to be behind closed doors type things, But if someone sees you buying them, they know what's going on. You buying these condoms? Oh, you fucking. I don't know why you'd be embarrassed because of that. I tell you, I'm buying these. Buying all these right here. And please announce if I buy the Magnums. I ain't. I'm not. But if you're an individual that is buying, please make sure they do a price check over the intercom for you. I might need a price check on that. I've never experienced that because I've never had a need. Just saying. I'm honest with myself. But anyway. Yeah, I don't know where the embarrassments come from in society. Either way, it's there. But so that's what was said to him when he asked that question, and his response was, "Well, I think I need to, be able to talk about it, and because I'm gonna need to know about these things in case I have a daughter when I get older." Boy, I could have teared up right there. And I just added on like also for your wife or your girlfriend or whatever, you might have to run inside and buy these things. But last time I heard, this young man didn't want no kids. Now he's talking about learning about the inner workings of periods for his possible daughter. But I thought that was so sweet. It was so sweet. And so kids surprise you. Kids will surprise you sometimes, and I thought that was so nice. I wanted to share. I'm glad I did. But yeah, it makes me feel good. Not that he was so sweet, but it makes me feel good that he's doesn't feel the uncomfortableness of it. Like it doesn't bother him. He's like, hey, this is part of life, and I feel comfortable talking about it and knowing about it and this, that, and the other. I guess it means I'm doing. Maybe it means I'm doing something right. Maybe I'll say we. I ain't raising him by myself. We doing something right. We are doing something right. All right. This is the JC Weekly Podcast. Episode 14, if I'm not mistaken. Episode 14. You can catch me on social. I'll be honest with you. I ain't been posting shit on socials. I don't know if there's a reason to give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you because I used to look at my past shit, but I ain't been doing shit on social media recently. I'm scrolling less, posting not at all, except for this podcast because I like sitting down and talking and doing long form talking. But I ain't doing shit. But I will pass along the information either way. On TikTok, I am JC Weekly Talks. On Instagram, JC_Weekly. YouTube, obviously JC Weekly. All your podcast listening platforms. It's JC Weekly Podcast, JC Weekly whatever. And I do write. I am a writer. So I do throw some stuff on Substack every once in a while. That's JC Weekly. I didn't have a lot because I've been so busy with life and all these other things going on around me right now. So I'm looking around this room with a bunch of boxes and bins and shit. That's another thing. You don't know how much shit you got in your life until you see it. I just want to just throw all this shit away. I'm not a sentimental person, like at all. At all. Like I don't need much of anything. Just the essentials. That's all I need. I could throw all this shit away. All that shit that I've accumulated over the whatever, however some years, 20 some years. I can throw most of this shit away and just keep going forward with just the essentials, what is really needed. I get it from my dad. I know I do because he didn't keep one thing of ours. Even when my mom wanted to, he didn't keep one thing. He threw that shit away. She had a box full of like sentimental stuff to her, stuff from our childhood. So, she wanted to keep a few things she had set aside. He threw that shit away. Didn't think nothing of it. He don't care. I am unfortunately the same way. I am the same way. Like I don't need a lot of stuff. I'm not sure what that says about me. I don't think I'm gonna dig into it. Might not say nothing. Might just mean that's not sentimental. I don't know. But I wanna talk about this quote I saw, and I want to flesh out because it actually goes right along with something I have been thinking about writing here. But instead, I think I'm just going to talk about it. So, the quote is this: "A woman is not written in Braille. You do not need to touch her to know her." First of all, that's dope. That's beautiful. Okay. And it goes right along with something I've been thinking a lot about here recently. And what I've been thinking about, and it's because of my own circumstances, that got me thinking about this, and it's kind of the way I feel at the moment. Majority of males, like, oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to pit it male against female. Majority of our romantic life, we lead with sex. And when I say lead with sex, I mean like, that's the goal, especially on men's side. That's the goal. Women too, possibly, but that's the goal you're shooting towards. That's always something sexual. Like, you notice someone, you're attracted to them, and you're like, oh, damn, and your first thought is something sexual. And so we lead with sex, no matter what and what degree that may be, where it be actually full sex or just making out or whatever it may be. A lot of folks tend to want to go for. This was my bag back in the day, and want to go for the sharing of nude pictures. It's just something sexual, right? And because of my own circumstances over the last handful of years with being separated, and how I felt about any other future relationships, for me at least, and I don't want to so brazenly put that everyone should do this and see how it affects them. But I feel like not having any interactions over such a long amount of time is helpful. It rewires the way you think and how you would approach females or relationships or anything going forward. And I want to use an example of I've got a friend. I got a best friend. Known just forever. We were the ones running around back in the day. And of course, everything was sex led, especially when you're teenagers, 20s, whatnot. Everything's leading with sex first. And it's a funny thing. He's been married for some years now, and he just happened to be talking to me here recently and said that he doesn't even know, like, because of what I'm separated, going toward into divorce and whatnot. Like, he doesn't even know what to say to a female, even how to approach her these days. And I just took it as that when he said it. Didn't think too much into it. But for some reason, I percolated on it, molded around in my old head. And I wonder if the reason why they wouldn't know how to approach is because he's used to leading with sex. And I haven't had this discussion with him. Maybe he feels the way I do now, because we're both in our 40s now. We're mid 40s now. Like, leading with sex, like, at this age, almost seems a little childish, but it doesn't mean it doesn't still happen all the time, of course. But like, him saying, like, I wouldn't know how to approach him, is because back then, you flirt, you make sexual innuendos, and see how that goes, what kind of response you get. Now, Now, I think we've gotten old enough to know that and understand and appreciate that that's not the most fulfilling all the time. So, especially on my part, which I haven't had any kind of contact with anyone for a while. I ain't gonna throw the number out. I ain't ashamed. I'm just saying. I'm just keeping it to myself. Actually, I wrote it somewhere on the Substack, so none of that really matters. But my idea of actually approaching someone or moving forward in future relationships wouldn't involve like the idea or thought of sex. Sex would be so low on my totem pole that it wouldn't be there to cloud my judgment and to actually take the time to get to know someone. And that's why I like that. That's why I like that quote. Let's run it back again. A woman is not written in Braille. You do not need to touch her to know her. Like you don't like this goes for both sides. We don't have to sexual contact, physical contact. You don't have to physical contact to get to know someone because you don't. And the thing is, like you hear about all the relationships sometimes that are like predominantly about sex. But I feel like at some point that's always going to falter at some point in time because the groundwork, the basis of it is like so flimsy because you don't really know each other like that. Everything is based around physical contact. And so it's actually shocking to me as a person who's always led with sex and was always the goal and was always the focus. It's actually shocking to me that I am thinking like this. It's growth. It's growth. Maturity. Wise over the years, getting wiser. Like getting to know someone and say a more friendly way. Or finding out what they're finding out and finding out what they're about. Just talking and whatever it will be is what it'll be. But when you're not clouded by the thought of possible physical contact, I feel like it would make it such an easier process. Such a freeing process, actually, because I feel like, because like always trying to find the way to get in the bedroom can be taxing. It could be stressful. Always running some type of line to say the perfect thing, but if that element's not there, then you are free to be who you are and say the not perfect thing. Show exactly who you are. Make mistakes, and either party will be able to see who they're talking to and appreciate them and accept them for who they are without the possibility of something like sex ruining it. And I think ruining it is a harsh word, but I think at this point in my life, I think it is valid. Because also I can take a step back and take a look at my anything else I've done in my life. I'm like, I always focused on the wrong thing and never cared about the right thing. And if going forward, I can fix that. And then actually getting used to not having sex is not as bad as I think people like would make it out to be. Like I'm not overly happy about it. I'd love to have sex, but getting comfortable with who you are and not having that pressure of physical contact and sex is kind of weird and refreshing all at the same time. Like I don't consider like finding someone attractive, the same thing. I mean, like actual like physical contact. Like it doesn't. I don't want to say it doesn't cross your mind, but you're not leaning so heavy into it that it's the only thing on your mind. We're like, oh, okay, shit. We have some things in common here. We got something going on, and let's lean in. Now, okay, now I got to figure out how to take this to the next step. No, I think that's always a problem, right? How we take it to the next step. The next step usually is after meeting is like, oh, it's something physical. How about we say where we're at right here, right now, and both of us just get comfortable right here. Nothing is ever going to feel like a waste of time if we're both being so present with each other, and no one is forcing the idea of sex into it, or this existing. It's different. At least, I mean, it's not different. I mean, many people do it. And it's kind of like, the people who save themselves for marriage, which everyone always looks at weirdly. I think people I've come across this over the last. I've met people that I've worked with, and it's always been so nice to meet them. And they are some people that have they're saving themselves for marriage. And like when I was a kid, you don't want to tell nobody you're a virgin. Right? Not I say kid, but when I was younger, you don't want to like that. That was you don't want nobody to know that shit. Like you didn't want to say it out loud to your friends. You don't want them to know. Even though it's not the end of the world, and you might get ribbed a little, but in the end, everyone moves on, doesn't care. But still, like the goal was always, oh, gotta have sex, gotta have sex, gotta have sex. I've met people that are saving themselves for marriage, and they're just so comfortable and confident with it. And they say, I'm saving myself. And yeah, I'm still a virgin at age whatever, 30 something, 20 something, whatever it may be. And I found that so nice to see, like, okay, people aren't maybe just focusing so much on it as they did, like, in years past. And I don't have my pulse on the youth these days. I don't know how the youth of society works and how they are emotionally and what they find important and not important and this, that, and the other. So I can only speak on my own feelings and experiences. But if this is the way it is, if they're actually kind of doing what I'm kind of realizing now at such an older age, I think we might see stronger and healthier relationships, maybe. You never know. See, the beat up part is the beat. Here's the beat up part of this. Just for shits and gigs. All right. The beat up part of this is, a lot of women and men say, being compatible sexually is important. It's not the most important, but it's important. The beat up part is like having two people that are just perfect for each other, just in every way, like maturity level, emotionally, whatever. Just they have great chemistry with each other. And then it comes to the bedroom, and that's not as what it could be. I think if you don't lead with sex and you've built that chemistry and that compatibility and the maturity together and the emotional part of it together already, then you can work on the sex part with each other, because you'll be able to be honest enough with each other and say, hey, I didn't like this, do like this, blah, 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 blah. Hey, maybe we can work on this, and it won't be a deal breaker. I feel like, when you're like people of my youth, when you lead with sex and you have sex and it's bad or not as good as it can be, first thing people do is go tell somebody. Go tell their friends, like, oh, his dick won't shit, all that kind of stuff. And then that's kind of it. The relationship goes nowhere after that. It's more of a now a running joke. Unless there is something they actually do like about them, maybe let them hit a few more times, then they'll move on. But yeah, if that relationship wasn't built, and then we just had the sex, and then that part was problematic, like, oh well, fuck that, I'm moving on. I could have been the best person in the world for you, and you let that go because of, I almost want to say minor. Something as minor as sex. I think I'm overstepping by saying something minor as sex, because I think it is important. I think sexual compatibility is important. But also, just like with every other type of compatibility within a relationship, sexual compatibility can be worked on as well, if you're both mature enough and to talk about it. And I am not the one to sit here and like kind of give any emotional advice, relationship advice, romantic advice, whatever. That ain't me. I'm just talking to my thoughts here. I'm talking to my thoughts and how I've been feeling here recently. And it's all from, I guess, self-imposed celibacy. It's like one of those things where, where before the idea of nudity or sexual stuff or touching something or someone, that's what excited you. And instead, maybe now, the idea of just talking and having a dope conversation is what excites you. And anything on top of that is just icing on the cake. That's the cherry on top. When that happens. Because I'm almost of the mind, like, if I ever get in a relationship again, like, and I'm scared that if I ever get in a relationship again, and I like take this mindset and I kind of want to walk it slower, that it would taint the relationship. Like, they wouldn't want to do that. But I almost feel like it's necessary now. It makes sense to me. It seems the more mature thing to do, the more emotionally mature thing to do. That thing to do. But I guess you gotta take that chance and and see how that goes. Or you'll think that all up to the moment where until they they kiss you or put their hand on your dick, and you're like, I guess we're just throwing that out the window. That was a good thought until a titty's out, you know what I'm saying? but it's biology. You can't help it. You gonna say no? I mean, I don't think I want to say no, but I'm not gonna mind if we slow walk this, and we just really, really get to know each other. Anyways, those are my thoughts. That's all I had because there's so much is going on around here. I didn't have time for the topics. I just this is the one thing that's been on my mind, and so please, I'd love anybody to jump in the comments and tell me their thoughts, and like if I'm off, or if I'm like you think I'm on, or, kind of right with this, or just get any of your thoughts and experiences with it. I'd love to hear about it. Once again, you can hit me up on all the socials as I said before. I haven't even looked at the views on what I got recently, but I feel like I'm doing, just putting these out is enough for me right now. I'll be honest with you, and I appreciate anybody who listens. But I think that's gonna do it for me. I'm gonna wrap it up. Until next time, peace.